What's going on, guys? You're probably watching this video because you purchased one of my 45-degree chamfer jigs and you want to know how to install it and use it. So let's jump into it. So here's a quick look at everything you'll need for your chamfer jig attachment. Of course, you need your chamfer jig. If you don't have one, you can get one on my website, northedgetools.com. And I use these T-slot clamps to attach it to my work rest. However, these clamps used to be like $10 to $15 for the pair of them. Now a pair of them costs $30, which is the same cost as the jig. So I have some alternatives for you that work just as good if you don't already have these sitting around, because I feel like they're a little too expensive now. So alternative clamping items are a set of C-clamps. You can use, I prefer the small ones, but you can use the regular medium-sized ones as well. I think these are 2-inch and these are 1-inch C-clamps. So you don't need all of these, just one or the other. And then a few pieces of scrap steel. So you only need 2. I just have some random ones out here. Here, we'll select these 2. So I like at least 3/16 or 1/4 inch and just little strips. These are cutoffs from blades that I've made, but these will come in handy here in a second. So the first step you want to do is verify that your platen is square to your work rest. So you can use a square here to double check that there is no adjustment that is needed. After you verify that that's square, I would go ahead and install a belt onto your grinder. And the reason I want you to install the belt that you're going to be grinding with on your grinder is to make sure that you don't put your rest or your chamfer jig too close in to where it'll interfere with that belt. So I like to gap my jig off of the belt by about 1/16 of an inch. Most of the time, I make sure that my chamfer jig is centered, roughly centered on my platen. Sometimes it may be necessary to move it to one side or the other, depending on what you're doing. If it's a really weird shaped piece, if there's something that's getting in the way, you can shift it from one side or the other. But for most instances, having it dead center is the best. Now, once I have it gapped off of my belt appropriately, and I have it centered on my platen, I take the T-slot clamps, I slip these onto the legs of the jig and then tighten them down. So it's as easy as that as installing. So this is nice and rigid, not going to go anywhere. Now to uninstall, same thing, just unscrew these, pull them off, and there you go, it's done. So now, what if you don't have these clamps? How do you attach this to your work rest? Let me show you. So my suggestion is to grab a couple cutoffs of scrap steel. It doesn't matter what kind of steel it is. You could use aluminum if it's thick enough, but something that's rigid, like I'm not going to be able to bend this by hand. So these are 1/4 inch thick or 3/16 and about 3/8 or 1/2 inch wide and about 6 inches long. All these are going to be used for is to go over the legs on the inside of this chamfer jig, and then when you clamp them down, it pinches that leg down just like it does with those T-slot clamps. So these pieces of metal are going to rest on those inside legs, and when you clamp it down, it'll hold it down. So let me show you how that works real quick. So we're going to position our chamfer jig where we want it, and then I'm going to slip these pieces of metal in. Then I'm going to take, say, a 1-inch C-clamp like that, and I'm going to clamp this piece down. You don't have to use 1-inch C-clamps. You could use a 2-inch C-clamp if you wanted, or if you have some of these clamps or a quick grip clamp, you can absolutely use that. The reason I like using clamps like these is they're fairly low profile. They don't have a big piece sticking up, which can get in the way of work pieces when you're grinding them. So anyways, we have it clamped down and it is nice and solid. If you would like to speed up the install and uninstall of your chamfer jig and not have these extra pieces kicking around, what I would suggest is mark some layout lines of where you want them attached to your jig. So, you know, say it's like we want it right there, I would cut it off, and then you can either super glue these in place, you can JB weld them, epoxy them, something like that. So then when you pick this whole unit up, it's moving as one and you don't have to fiddle around with those separate legs. But that's something that you'll have to customize based on your work rest setup. So let's go ahead and show you how to use this. There are some limitations depending on how big of pieces that you're using. Originally, I had my work rest was mounted on top of my work arm here. So it was up like 1.5 inches higher than it normally is. And so I had very little bit of platen up here to work with. So what I've done is I mounted it to a separate tool arm and I moved it down. This is a homemade work rest, one that I made to work with this grinder. But then I have, you know, about 1.5 inches of platen to work with up here. So make sure that when you're grinding, you're not hitting like the slack portion of the belt, because that can throw off the angle. Also, it's wise to take, even though we've squared off our work rest to our platen, to take like a 45-degree angle and a straight edge and match it up there and verify that this is at 45 degrees if that is super critical for your operations, because this is not a precision piece of equipment. It's roughly 45-degree chamfer. And so there could be a little bit of variance here or there. And that all depends on how much flex your work table has and, you know, the alignment of the platen and so forth. So if you need it to be exact, then I would suggest using some precision measuring equipment to make sure that it matches up where you need. And then if you need to make adjustments to the angle, you can do so using your platen, or if you have an adjustable work rest, you can do so. So let's go ahead and show you how this is used. So I have this little handle scale for one of my talons that I've roughed in the 45-degree chamfers, and I need to do the same on this other one. So I've marked my center line just by hand with pencil, and gives me a reference to grind to. So I'm going to take the face of the scale, put it in, and then grind down to that line. All right, folks, well, there you have it, the 45-degree chamfer jig. This is a great tool to have in your shop, super easy to install and use on your grinder. That's part of the design and why I designed it this way, so you don't have to adjust any angles, move your platen, you don't have to purchase expensive tilt table arms, you know, that are upwards of $100 or anything like that. You literally, $30 jig, you can set it on your work rest, clamp it down, use it, and then unclamp it and then store it away. I keep mine back here behind my grinder. It stays out of the way. And then it's readily available when I need to use it. It's aluminum, so it won't rust on you, and it's super lightweight because it is aluminum. So great tool. I find new uses for it all the time. If you watch my stainless steel Damascus chef knife video, I used it to make a wall handle in that one. Even on my knives where I don't have the sharp 45-degree chamfers, I do like rounded over chamfers. I'll do the bulk of the material removal using the chamfer jig to make sure that I get even removal on both sides before I hit it on a slack belt and round everything over. So great tool to have. If you purchase one and you're watching this video for the setup and the instruction, thank you so much. I appreciate your support. And if you're looking for one of these and it seems like a tool that you could utilize in your workshop, you can find it on my website, northedgetools.com, and it is in the tools and accessories section. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your support, and thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.